I'm Jamey Hecht. I live around here, and this is some of my poetry. I'll read a few poems from my new book, Limousine, Midnight Blue, 50 Frames from the Zapruder Film, which is a collection of 50 poems of 14 lines each, elegies for President Kennedy, and in a way which is increasingly clear as events churn on more rapidly by the moment, elegies for America. The Zapruder Film, in case you're unaware, is a 26-second home movie shot at 18.5 frames per second for a total of 486 frames by one Abraham Zapruder, an unassuming, relatively humble, inarticulate, and obscure, until this momentous occasion, Jewish dressmaker in Dallas, Texas, who had the monumental ill luck to be present in Dealey Plaza on the day when the only president of the United States in the history of the Republic to make a speech for peace directly in the teeth of full momentum onslaught toward world domination of the primitive warfare state was gunned down in the street like a dog. And Zapruder caught this on camera with that heartbreaking technicolor that we associate with the 1960s. So you must imagine the scene of an all too typical main street full of various stripes of mid-20th century bigotry and all manner of repressed hostility roiling just beneath the surface, and goodwill flawed by all manner of narcissistic wounds and block communication and so on, and Jim Crow in the street, and it's Dallas, Texas, and the president's motorcade emerges, makes a hairpin turn, and he waves as heads of state do, and then is shot several times. Several other shots hit people in the car, other shots miss and hit the Stemmons Freeway sign or the curb, and the driver slows the limousine down to no faster than 11 miles an hour. It may have been a complete stop. Turns around, waits, watches the president's head explode, then turns around and hits the accelerator and drives to the hospital. The film has a way of repeating itself over and over again. Nobody watches the Zapruder film once, even though it's horrible. It's like seeing one Hamlet in your life, and that's it. Which I think perhaps is a better analogy than eating one peanut. Although, you see the point? And ultimately, it began to dawn on me that this business of watching this person trapped in this unvarying predicament, like a tragic hero, Oedipus in Sophocles' drama, or Hamlet in Shakespeare's, is a situation in which nothing can change, and yet you catch your human heart willing to its utmost that something, somehow, turn out differently. And there is nothing you can do. So it is with our national destiny and with the various losses which befall us all. Z165. By now it should be clear to you. The film is going to end exactly how it always ends. If there were going to be some miraculous exception, it would have come by now. But here it is already 165, and you're still waving and smiling, the wife coldly waving on the other side of the car, miles away, squinting in the weird November heat. Rather be riding horses or redecorating. Big John can't stand you, but you have him where you want him. Look at him. His wife loves him. Ugly pair, but they trust. Like you can trust your brother. Where was I? If anything unusual were going to happen, it probably would have by now, so you can just relax and get shot to death like usual. Print it. Z167. Some of these are spoken by JFK, others spoken by the poet to him, others spoken to various characters in JFK's life, including his presidential successors, his killers, his son, and so on. And here, it's little old Jewish me, born in 1968, prattling at President. Z167. You were warned and went down anyway, and now you're dead. Premonitions, oracles, and fear, logic, predictions and intelligence up the chimney to the clouds. Had Sophocles himself left Hades to forbid you, there would still eventuate this silent film, this dumb show, mocking us. Now I'm in the military cemetery, asking your broken head, why didn't you listen? Now I'm bringing home the wide red ribbon from my $27 worth of roses. When Aristotle whispered in your dream the precious old distinctions between the brave man and the rash, the temperate and licentious, where was your famous prudence? This was your idea, riding helpless to Jerusalem on a donkey. C-168, wherein I steal the riddle of the Sphinx. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 3 legs in the evening, and moves the swiftest on the fewest legs? What has Addison's disease, chronic back pain, sex addiction, a nasty speed habit, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a rocking chair which that pituitary cretin will destroy, that history is turning on its hinges toward the dark, that one of them is you, that everything you started has been smashed, except a voyage to the barren stone that hangs as our reminder there is nowhere else to breathe, we know. Stuck in the hillside, one feeble jet of gas tells how symbols work. One thing that you can see stands for something absent that you can't. Z-169. Tell me, Muse, of that man of many turns who was a politics buff. I am a poetry buff. She is a coincidence theorist. I am a lone nut. The Lone Ranger was a lone gunman. Tonto doesn't count. My heart is separate but equal. The Lone Star State is like a star, all by itself. Jesus died for to wash me. When the last day comes, all the Texans will be taken up to heaven in a rapture like no other. Left behind will be the Negras and the Jews, not to mention Catholics, them also Rands, who couldn't get their story straight. They had it coming. Faggots, octoroons. Tell me all about it, while I sing another song to save me from the one I need to hear. Z-170. I've never taken this approach before, starting randomly in the middle of the book and then just reading some consecutive one. Z-170. If you're so smart, John Kennedy, what's gravity? Here's Zapruder Frame 170. There's you, the famous enemy of tyranny, the brother of the enemy within, and you don't know anything about what's happening. Bright as the solid daylight, and you're waving in the dark. Later in the day, they bathe you and take photographs. They load the pine box, but the deluxe bronze casket gets 240 pounds of sand, and maybe documents and x-rays, and a C-130 takes it 131 miles out on the Atlantic, out beyond the continental shelf and down 9,000 feet. Between Parkland and Bethesda, the wounds they need replace the ones they don't at Walter Reed. Those are the metal particles. And these, the ocean waves. I've never read this one. Z-171. Come as you are. At the resurrection, you won't need the fragment of occipital bone Bill Harper found 25 feet off to the south, nor what your wife climbed out and reached for as if to stick it back into the past before the sodden jigsaw puzzle. Saint Sebastian will climb out of the tomb, riddled with the arrows of Apollo's plague. Cecilia with her lopped-off head still hanging on. By then the lie will die at last. All documents released. The resurrected shooters will abase themselves in cocytus, where traitors tear their own flesh with their teeth, tears frozen in their faces, braced in solid shit. All my nonsense, all my desperate mourning, pointed always in the wrong direction, will come round on you. Z172. 2 Samuel 11:24. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Let go of all this shrill romanticism and go wash your face. If you can't, with all your Freudian groping underneath the floorboards, find what this obsession stands for, you should replace it with a hobby. Like, say, gardening. Dig, darling. Here's a little handheld shovel and a bag of special dirt. These are bulbs. There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. You are angry with your mother. You are sorry for your father. Feeling dead somehow, you want to know who killed you. Punish those responsible. You want to vindicate the great lost cause that is your life with illustrations from the Book of Job. Impossible. C176. One of the features of this book, which is rather strange, but from which I take an equally strange pleasure that I don't fully understand, is that like a tiny handful of books which, over the last bunch of decades, share this characteristic, seems to me relatively rare. I could be wrong about that. The book is a kind of channeling of the spirit of a dead person, though how such a thing could possibly work in the real world, I cannot imagine. Maybe the soul survives the death of the body. I don't know. I just can't see how it possibly could. Maybe I just don't see how. Everything speaks against it, and what speaks loudest for it is my desire to live forever. On that account, I suspect it may not be so. At any rate, somehow, as I never tire of saying, when I translated Sophocles, I felt the old man was speaking through me, saying, okay, shut up, kid, you're doing fine, stay out of the way, I will tell you what the next line of English is that is adequate to what I say. So shut up. This is the thing. Okay. And that's how this book came about, too. And I've written plenty of bad poems that did not feel that way. The good ones did. The strange feature to which I'm trying to point is that this is the voice of an historical figure, but it is not his idiom, nor are the words to be thought of as being spoken in his accent. For the spirit is in eternity and not in time, nor is it from Massachusetts. Somehow transcends history and is somehow like skewered through it, Z176. In the race I run with my adrenal glands, I win. When this limousine slows down to imperceptibly creep forward in 3 pairs of distant crosshairs, pellets of cortisone implanted in my thighs, stacked syringes and a vast supply reposed in safe deposit boxes coast to coast, your work is done. The American Medical Association Archives of Surgery for 1955 describes the miracle that I was still alive, an Addisonian, a man 37 years of age. 37 years from now, the AMA will lie about my wounds. I taught them how. Mercury comes for everyone. The psychopomp to lead us down the psychopath. Primroses blow beneath the cypresses to Pluto. Now I would like to read you some of my new stuff. This is my next book, more or less, and I'm trying to choose between two titles. One is The Dream of the Gauze Forest, and the other is Fate versus United States.
Could they be more different?
I suppose not. This one of them had gumdrops in it, I suppose.
One is really a subtitle of the other.
Yeah. Counterfactual. A snowstorm forms above the tropics. That's quite counterfactual, isn't it? Counterfactual. A snowstorm forms above the tropics, destroys the armies of the empire in an hour. The same unblinking, great almighty God animates the Trojan horse, which rides away across the plains of Troy, as in its hollow belly cruel, embittered soldiers are digested into slime. Hitler, by a thunderbolt, is burned away. The brain of Stalin is turned suddenly to stone. The God of ancient Israel, of Islam, and of Christ emerges from the symbol in the marble floor at Langley. By his light the white bones are exposed of spies and killers in their secret halls. Like a golden rain, God falls upon the generals of ancient Rome, and Jesus dies an old man in his bed. The opposite of hope is not despair. It is the wish for freedom in the past long gone. For the unaborted second term of RFK, the Yorkist claim triumphant in the field. Arbenz Lumumba Mossadegh, alive and signing legislation with the silver pen. I hold space to be at rest, said Isaac Newton, whose successor one day found the curvature of space-time, warped by the march of matter through the world. Just so, all of human time is twisted into tyranny. This next poem is called Committed to the Flames, and it is in some way the same poem. And it may be that I stand in need of advice about what to do about that. It may be that all is well. Committed to the Flames. Pompeii. Binkia's thatched roofs. Plato's poems. The notes made by Commander Humes at Parkland Hospital when Kennedy's real wounds were wrong. The Library of Alexandria. Cantor Fitzgerald's million faxes, charts, reports. The Shenandoah Valley where Sherman lit the night for 60 by 300 miles. 6 million Jews. The holy citadel of Troy. The autumn leaves, raked by all the gardeners of 1984. Giordano Bruno, Piazza dei Fiori, 1600. All the witches tethered to the stake when Salem stank of human flesh on fire. Kamikazes, the monks of Vietnam, strange fruit, Patroclus, Shelley, the Cub Scouts marshmallow that melted, then fell in. People, stars, trees, books, cities, barns, a desk, a door. The ash goes to the wind, the smoke up to the clouds, as the entire object passes through the fire's thin film of time and out the other side into oblivion.
Fear in a handful of dust.
Harmless. My harmless poem is touching this paper in your hand. Both are dying, but the poem has another body waiting on the dark side of the moon. You have a wooden box waiting, and a song, and a carousel of suits and dresses, black, with relatives and friends inside, milling about among the bronze urns and purple flowers below a ceiling fan. Hear their heartbeats, hear them coughing in the hallway. Watch the angelic cavalry traverse their fantasy of you. Hear silver hoofbeats, ring the pediments of heaven, as your soul arrives among the terraced choirs of light. What will you sing? A billion of the hovering saved heave their radiant breasts in mounting harmonies, but you hear absolutely nothing. They ignore you. They are pouring their attention down a central hole. This is very new. I stuck this on my blog the other day. Made a fine mess. America is Flight 77. America is Flight 77, chained to the target by remote control, all power of decision gone, both engines blind, slaves to the digital bullwhip, the hardware's nightmare cabinet of silicon and wire. The guts of Old Man Cheney's dark equipment used at last on Tuesday morning in the well below the White House, white fat fingers flicking history's helpless switches. Happy now, a hidden king directing everything. AA-77 folding into flaming liquid. Metal vapor. Gypsum dust. The blast wave rips the Coke machines like paper. Glass and candy everywhere. Glass wet with fire as rainbow skittles perforate the intern's legs. Insulation, burning horsehair packed between the floors by Truman's engineers. Great holes. 10,000 crates of files baked to ashes. Tides of black smoke pouring down the hall from higher floors. Beams, where it's quiet, vortices of poison smoke pool white like cream. The Kevlar windows blunt the bouncing axes of the firemen. Unbreakable. America is World Trade Center 7. Rigged to burn and then collapse free fall. Beyond the giant day, the smell hung on, deep into winter. On New Year's Eve we heard from Robert Lowell's ghost, clamavimus. O depths, we are poured out like water. All year we breathed the vapors of the dead, asbestos, ash, draped in one enormous rag of black, the Deutsche Bank building, hid beneath its canvas veil and processed trades, shifting giant numbers in the dark. Wall Street's great black cube of pure authority, dreaming of the Reichstag's flames. Do not compare it with the hollow granite cube in Mecca. Draped in its enormous black silk veil, the Kiswa, with its tracery of holy verses spelled in spun gold thread. Algae blooms in vast profusion. 90 million years go by. Cheney sends the Air Force off on drills because he knows what's coming, wants it to succeed, wants to start the game. So, white investment bankers and Honduran janitors burn for his fermented ancient slime. His, ours, theirs. De profundis, we are poured out like petroleum into an undisclosed location. I've been wrestling with this thing for like 6 months. There's still something wrong with it, but it's close. It's good. It's not. It's close. This, however.
My favorite line is glass wet with fire.
Oh, thank you.
It's really nice.
Good. Somebody. I got a flick. Somebody else. I don't like glass wet with fire.
Yeah.
Thank you. Jesus saves.
I like it already.
One of the things that Jewish writers get together and sit around and talk about is which of their lines amounts to asking to get shot. You know? My friend Mark Kuzmak, who's a scholar of singer, and Isaac Bashevis Singer and other people who lives in New York, said that about some short story I wrote. That stuck with me. Never read this poem out loud before.
Back's to the wall, you're fine.
What?
I said your back's to the wall, you're fine.
Right on. Thank you. Yeah, it's always got my back. Jesus saves. The offshore drilling platform blows sky high when Athena, like a meteor from heaven, dives down to the center of the earth, where Judas, Cassius, and Brutus lie in agonies of ice and fire forever. The aircraft carrier's maneuvers end when angels tear the steel skin off the bulkheads, and the empty planes like darts are thrown deep into Pluto. Magic, cargo cults and symphonies, mesmerism, NLP. That star upon which Jiminy Cricket wished so many times. Hypnosis, dreams, a THC-induced euphoric hike along a mountain stream. The best of luck, a silent temple in Japan. Maitreya Buddha walking through a door in time onto the Tonight Show's floodlit set. Deliver us from dead America. Let all the oil run out before the trains from San Francisco and New York set out to fill the FEMA camps with slaves. Or better still, remember, Jesus saves. Chipper little ditty I picked up in Kalamazoo. It was a hit at the Grand Ole Opry. I guess I have time for one more long poem or two short ones. What do you want to hear? Two short ones?
Okay.
Is that what you said? Okay. Two short ones. You shall hear. Two short ones. I'm short. It takes me a week and a half to find two short ones.
The long and the short of it.
Right.
They were in order.
I'll just turn into that character that Martin Scorsese is in Taxi Driver. Pull up here. Pull up here. Stay here. I tell you to turn the finger off. Don't turn the finger.
Is there one you had in mind?
You think if there was one I had in mind, it'd be beheaded?
Very entertaining.
Okay, here we go.
It's all on tape.
Yeah,
Thank you.
making good footage.
We'll talk to the press. That's all. Okay, what that means, I don't know. It's a fragment of Lenny Bruce. I throw it in. That, and I oppose it because it's morally wrong. You should only throw that in when no moral issue has arisen. That's what you have. That's the way that's to be used. You want to go to the burger? I oppose it. No. It's like this. Mantra. I have taken away the mist from your eyes, Diomedes, that you may know the god from the mortal. But I still don't. Gods maul and haunt and cauterize. This one they guide, and that one they whisper to, deceptively. Another they fill with secrets. Math beyond the rest of us. Cassandra's paranoia in the truth. Chess or epilepsy. At 12, I used 2 mirrors, looking at my back for a single mark of supernatural favor, good or bad. Now, glass bowls burn cool in the autumn window. Brilliant. The cat sips at the soy milk in the chipped gray plate. I hold the cloth toy bird with the long beak. I rest its flannel belly in my hand. I listen for Athena. The pipes sing, but I have an explanation for that too. And lastly, the 7 deadly sins. Envy is the rainbow. Fork it all! Envy is the rainbow, iridescent on the stagnant pool, gazing up all morning at his giant brother in the sky. Pride, a dog that says, I am the Messiah. Lust, the mad king's iron crown, intractable. Avarice, the black hole at the center of the galaxy. Wrath, the granite heart exploding on the anvil. Sloth, that colorless, thick, tasteless syrup. Vanity, one bright blue-green beetle on a turd. I hate to end on that note. Had I remembered that that's where it ends, I certainly wouldn't have chosen that poem. So let's instead think of the brilliant stars shining in the clean summer sky. Thanks for coming.
Thank you both for coming to St. Johnson's and sharing your poetry with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was going to read homage to Billy Collins, but I forgot.
Oh, next time.
Okay, next time.
I'd like to hear that one.
Maybe we can go across the street to that bar and you can read it there.
People get a drink there.
At the Good Hurt? The Good Hurt's not open yet?
Well, it wasn't open at 1.
Oh.
Well, were the bikers there yet?
Oh, is that what we...
Oh, yes, they usually have around 50 bikes.
Well, in that case, I should read it now and get it over with. It's an 8-line poem.
Yes, you may read it.
Homage to Billy Collins. Thank you. Billy Collins could not be here this morning, so I am writing his poem for him. In it, a dog sleeps beside a tree, while that little girl from the painting by De Chirico chases her almost silent hoop. And you are there, and from his window, Billy Collins sees you, and, too busy writing a much better poem than this one, wonders for a moment how you got there, and why you are wearing his bathrobe. But wait till after my book came out with his blurb on it before publishing that poem.
I have a poem that is actually in a response to a Billy Collins. It's funny. I don't have it with me though, but
Send it to me. I'd love to read it.
You know what we'll do? We'll send it together to the Singing Literary Journal and see if they'll print both of them.
That's a good idea.
Nice.
We have to figure out where. Thank you all for coming. I'm very grateful to you.
Excellent. So great to see you, and I love you in white. Yeah, it certainly does, doesn't it?
Books are available for sale here at the front of the store.
I never realized the bookstore was here. I hadn't a clue until you sent, the invite, and I was like, oh, this is great. Because I live
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, you live around here?
Yeah, Steve and I live near Sentinella and Culver.
It's such a nice, rich speaking voice. I forgot what you sound like.
So books are handed
My voice?
through the
Yeah.
post.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you're-
Yeah, I've been working on it all morning. So it's because I'm close to John Wayne, so I feel like I have to be working. But,
We'll do that too.
Yeah, so anyways, but yeah, I had no idea. And I asked Steve, I go, have you read this bookstore? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, well, why'd you ever take me there? Because he knows I love books. And, I'm like,
I won't find another bookshop like it. Some are really incredible. I always find some very similar.
So you knew about it before you told me he was going to read here.
I knew about it because of Jamey.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so I've been living, I guess on the west side for a little over a year now. And his favorite cafe is on the block, so he's popping here all the
Oh,
time.
where's your
Like
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just about
it was
5
great.
Yeah, I
doors
think
down.
Steve and I have gone
Soaptopia.
Ohio University, and they flew me back there, and I was
Yeah,
there for 3 days, and I got to do workshops
Wow.
with their graduates. It was like
I wanna
completely
do
out of
that.
the blue. It was like
I was
crazy.
like, I want to be down there, but there's
And,
another new place that I
And then part of it was